Chapter 3. The O as the egg and the cat. Brahma, the self-existing, desiring to produce various creatures from his own body, first, with a thought, created the waters, and deposited in them a seed. This seed became a golden egg, resplendent as the sun, in which he himself was born as Brahma, the progenitor of all worlds. Sanskrit texts, Muir, 27. Thus when the Orphic poet desired to go further back than the point to which the Hesiodic Theogony traces the generation of the cosmos, he traced the universe to the great mundane egg produced by Kronos, time, out of chaos and Aether, a symbol answering to the mighty mixing bowl of the Platonic demiurgos, and akin to all the circular, oval, or boat-shaped emblems of fertility. The mythology of the Aryan nations, Cox, 437. The O is the golden egg or the serpent's egg, the womb of nature from which the universe is hatched, an universal symbol. S.D. I. 95. The mystery of the apparent self-generation and evolution through its own creative power, repeating in miniature, in the egg, the process of cosmic evolution, both due to heat and moisture under the efflux of the unseen creative spirit, fully justified the selection of this graphic symbol. The virgin egg is the microcosmic symbol of the macrocosmic prototype, the Virgin Mother, chaos, or the primeval deep. Cosmos, as receptive nature, is an egg fructified, yet left immaculate, for once regarded as boundless, it could have no other representation. While the egg is a true symbol of all physical generation, it is also a symbol of the Christ seed within each heart. For within the spheroidal aura surrounding each soul like the shell of an egg, there is a germinal center, the Christ seed, common to all his body's physical, astral, mental, etc., which, like the germ center within the egg, gradually grows and unfolds until the Christ man emerges. He is then just as much a new and altogether different expression of the soul as is the chicken different from the egg when it emerges from its shell. The Chinese believed that their first man was horned from an egg, which Tien dropped down from heaven to earth into the waters. This egg symbol is still regarded by some as representing the idea of the origin of life, which is a scientific truth, though the human ovum is invisible to the naked eye. The Christians, especially the Greek and Latin churches, have fully adopted the symbol and see in it a commemoration of life eternal, of salvation, and of resurrection. This is found in, and corroborated by, the time-honored custom of exchanging Easter eggs. From the Anguinum, the egg of the pagan Druid, whose name alone made Rome tremble with fear, to the red Easter egg of the Slavonian peasant, a cycle has passed. And yet, whether in civilized Europe, or among the abject savages of Central America, we find the same archaic, primitive thought. Among the Greeks, Eros is poetically described as having issued from the egg of night as it floated on the waters of chaos. Since divine love is the outbreathing whose vibrations quicken the chaos of unmanifested life held within the mighty circle of the great deep, Eros, as the symbol of love manifesting on the physical plane, can indeed be said to issue from the egg of night. The goddess Venus, his mother, is the ruler of the planet Venus, the sister planet of our Earth. According to the occult doctrine, this planet is our Earth's primary and its spiritual prototype. The planet Venus is so closely affinitized with our Earth and so closely connected with its evolution, as with its birth, that it is said that every sin committed on Earth is felt by its guardian spirit. Also that every great regenerating or spiritual movement on Earth, like a great wave of love and helpfulness, is first communicated to the ruler of earth by the spirit of Venus. The sea foam from which she is represented to have arisen was the result of the churning of the great deep as chaos responded to the life-giving vibrations of creative love when the word was spoken, "Let there be light." It will be remembered, however, that Venus complained to Themis that her son Eros remained ever a child. In other words, human love remained undeveloped. Themis assured Venus that this was because he was solitary, so soon afterward another son was born to Venus, whom she called Anteros. He is represented both as the avenger of slighted love and as symbolic of reciprocal affection. Themis, who in the myth is called Divine Justice, was the wife of Zeus and mother of the Fates, hence represents karma, while Anteros is that aspect of love which brings dire results when love is degraded or unrequited. He is that aspect of love which enables the serpent to swallow its tail or the circle to be completed, that human love may once more be swallowed up in the ocean of divine love from whence it emerged. Ra is shown like Brahma gestating in the egg of the universe. Among the Greeks, the Orphic egg is described by Aristophanes, and was a part of the Dionysiac and other mysteries, during which the mundane egg was consecrated and its significance explained. Porphyry also shows it to be a representation of the world. The myth of Leda is another symbol of the feminine aspect of divine love, i.e., Libra, the sheath of Venus, for she was visited by Zeus in the guise of a swan and is then said to have produced 2 eggs, from one of which Castor and Pollux, immortalized in the heavens as the sign Gemini, the twins, were born, and from the other Helen, she for whose blandishments the Trojan War was waged. Thus does life bring forth from the great mundane egg, first, duality, Castor and Pollux symbolizing the intellectual faculties brought forth from an earthly mother and a divine father, hence always vacillating and unbalanced, and second, Helen, the symbol of purely human love, beautiful, seductive and the stirrer up of strife and bloodshed among men. As Bryant shows, it was a symbol adopted among the Greeks, the Syrians, the Persians, and Egyptians. In the Egyptian ritual, Seb, the god of time and of the earth, is spoken of as having laid an egg conceived at the hour of the great one of the dual force. Whence this universal symbol? The egg was incorporated as a sacred sign in the cosmogony of every people on the earth, and was revered both on account of its form and of its inner mystery. From the earliest mental conceptions of man, it has been known as that which represented most successfully the origin and secret of being. The gradual development of the imperceptible germ within the closed shell. The inward working, without any apparent outward interference of force, which from a latent nothing produced an active something, needing naught save heat, and which, having gradually evolved into a concrete, living creature, broke its shell, appearing to the outward senses of all as a self-generated and self-created being. All this must have been a standing miracle from the beginning. The secret teaching explains the reason for this reverence by the symbolism of the prehistoric races. In the beginnings, the first cause had no name. Later it was pictured in the fancy of the thinkers as an ever-invisible, mysterious bird that dropped an egg into chaos, which egg became the universe. Hence Brahma was called Kalahansa, the swan in time. Becoming the swan of eternity, Brahma, at the beginning of each Mahamanvantara, lays a golden egg which typifies the great circle, or O, itself a 5. It was this mystery which was always presented to the candidates and explained during the mysteries. While the myth of the mundane egg was used as an illustration to bring this great truth to their minds and make it a living reality in their hearts, they were taught that the Christ seed or egg was dropped by the heavenly dove, call it bird of life, Parahamsa, Holy Ghost, or what you will, in the nest of their hearts, which they themselves had to build, purify, and prepare for its reception. Hence, only as they made conditions possible for this divine bird to hover over them and find a nesting place in their hearts, could she land hatch out the egg. After the egg was hatched, the heavenly dove brought daily to her nestlings the heavenly food, mother love, on which they could feed and flourish. Also, as she made her almighty heart and soared into the heaven world, she created a spiral of magnetic life force over which the fledgling candidate could consciously ascend and gather the experience of the higher realms. This is what is meant when we are told, best ride the bird of life. The engraving of a papyrus in Kircher's Oedipus Aegyptiacus shows an egg floating above the mummy. This is the symbol of hope and the promise of a second birth for the Osirified dead. His soul, after due purification and amenti, will gestate in this egg of immortality, to be reborn therefrom into a new life on earth. For this egg, in the esoteric doctrine, is Devashan, the abode of bliss, the winged scarabaeus also being another symbol of it. The winged globe is but another form of the egg and has the same significance. A second reason for the egg having been chosen as the symbolical representation of the universe and of our earth was its form. It was a circle and a sphere, and the oviform shape of our globe must have been known from the beginning of symbology, since it was so universally adopted. The symbol of an egg also expresses the fact taught in occultism that the primordial form of everything manifested, from atom to globe, from man to angel, is spheroidal, the sphere being with all nations the emblem of eternity and infinity, a serpent swallowing its tail. It is a scientific fact that in nature all eggs and most seeds, in which the future animal, plant, or man is latent, are either circular or more or less modified spheroids in shape. This is a scientific corroboration of the occult teaching that the origins of all forms of manifested life are spheroidal, from the birth of new worlds out of central suns, down to the microscopic cells of which all flesh is grown. Our word cell is the Celtic name of heaven, cell, and this continuous birth of cell from cell was identical with deity, church, and priesthood, all belonging to the one system for continuous gift and parturition. Even the astral manifestations in a seance room, prior to their either realization or materialization, appear as globes of light of more or less brilliancy. The cat, owing to its habit of curling up in a circle with its tail around its head, to give but one reason, was considered as a symbol of the O. Hence, just as the O contains within itself the life and power of the 9 digits, so the cat is said to have 9 lives. The term lives, however, was originally not taken in its literal sense, but as referring to the 9 manifestations of the one life current represented in the 9 digits. The goddess Basht, or Pasht, was represented with the head of a cat. This animal was held sacred for several reasons. It was the symbol of the moon, the eye of Osiris or the sun, during night. The cat was also sacred to Sakhet. One of the mystic reasons was because of its body being rolled up in a circle when asleep. The posture is prescribed for occult and magnetic purposes, the circulation of the vital fluid, with which the cat is preeminently endowed. The 9 lives of a cat is a popular saying based on good physiological and occult reasons. Thus, the god Shu, the personification of Ra, who appears as the great cat of the basin of Persia was often represented in Egyptian monuments seated and holding a cross attached to a circle. Among the Egyptians, the cat was held sacred not only because it slept in the form of Ao or, as many suppose, because of its ability to see in the dark, but because of its association with the goddess Basht and the moon. This relation has been explained by Professor Max Muller as due to the fact that the eyes of the cat become full-orbed and grow most luminous in the dark, and also because the moon was the seer by night in the heavens. The esoteric reason, however, is the ability of the cat to give out large quantities of animal magnetism and physical life force, as can so easily be proved by stroking a cat in the dark. The Egyptians knew that this magnetism was but the outer manifestation of the life force, and that under proper treatment this life force could be given out so as to be absorbed by man. They understood the law that only through kindness and love could man make the lower kingdoms yield him their forces in such a way as to aid his own development. Hence, large numbers of cats were kept in the temples and treated with great care, that they might supply the priests and seers with purified and harmonized animal magnetism which certain of their duties and exercises abstracted from their bodies. This use of the cat is probably the origin of the superstition that a witch always had a familiar spirit in the form of a black cat, as the magnetism could of course be put to unholy as well as holy uses. Also, by observing them many auguries were made, and much esoteric knowledge was deduced from their disposition and actions which would surprise the modern scholars who think of the cat only as a mouse catcher and midnight prowler. In the ancient ruins called Tel Basta near Zagaziga Cemetery has been found devoted exclusively to mummified cats. In the tombs of Beni Hassan and elsewhere are found quantities of small images, not only of Isis, Osiris, and Horus, but also of the cat sitting in watchful attitude, its eyes always prominent no matter how small or crude the image. These images are often strung on chains with mummy beads and wrapped in the folds of the mummy cloths. Such images were not used for mere decoration as many think, but because the cat was looked upon as the watcher of the night, not only owing to its ability to see in the dark, but also because of its extreme sensitiveness to all astral influences and its unmistakable ability to see astral entities. Cats were made household pets and closely watched so the owner might be warned of the approach of undesirable astral forces and entities which he would then proceed to exorcise. They were placed in the tomb with the mummy for the same purpose, i.e., to watch over the deceased and warn him of evil influences in the netherworld. Among the Egyptians, the male cat is Ra himself, and he is called Mao by reason of the speech of the god Sa, covering him, he is like unto that which he hath made, thus his name became Mo. In Ireland and Scotland it is the common belief that a three-colored cat brings good fortune, hence if such a cat attaches itself to a home it is considered a sign of great good luck. The selection of this particular kind of a cat is based upon the three colors combined in its fur, namely, black, white, and yellow, thus showing that the ancient Celts had a practical understanding of both color and number. It was also held that the three-colored cat was an aid to the unfoldment of the astral senses or second sight, the black aiding clairvoyance, the yellow clairsentience, and the white ability to receive spiritual inspiration and prophesy. For these reasons, a three-colored kitten was often given to a child as a constant companion and playmate, believing that it would enable the child to see in the three worlds. Much of the psychic ability of the canny Scot is attributed to this custom. In the Jarvis letters previously referred to, the great cat or lion is connected with the Jews and Judah as follows. Our big cat lion made the whole cat family sacred as a record name, our Celtic cat naming the house or family of deity, and her picture always named the moon goddess, she being specially identified with astronomy, being addressed on the walls of Thebes as, O thou great cat, thou who canst see at night. This lion represents the deity and the priesthood, always identified with these namings. This sitting lion has the same posture as the lion sphinx, whose Egyptian name is Hu Piter or Hu Father. The Hu, or Ju, named all the Ju peoples of Denmark, America, England, and Syria, and the Lion of Juda was the biblical sign name of the Hebrews, or Jus. It will be remembered that in Revelation, it was only this great cat or lion which was found worthy to open the book of life and loose its 7 seals, i.e., only the ability to see in the darkness of earth conditions the heavenly visions, the ability to store up and give out to the race the divine life force, the ability to manifest the powers of the 9 digits latent in the O, and the ability consciously to cope with all astral conditions, make of man the lion of the tribe of Judah and enable them to unloose the 7 seals and open the book of life. At the opening of the 5th seal there was a plague of locusts having lions' teeth. At the opening of the 6th seal horses appeared having lions' heads, and when the 7 thunders uttered their voices they roared as a lion, all of which points out to the world the old esoteric doctrine that man becomes the lion only when he has completed his O and reached number 10, also that it is man himself, while passing through the lower phases of animal passion, who brings to the race the 7 plagues, judgments, cataclysms, etc. Hence only when the lion and the lamb can lie down together and submit to the leading of the Christ child, can the lion of the tribe of Judah find his true place in the perfect city of the New Jerusalem, number 12.